Welcome. Welcome to our worship service at the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Here we gather, nurturing our connection, seeking inspiration, and engaging the world. We are located on the traditional homelands of the Gayokoko, the Cayuga Nation. The Gayokoko are members of the Hayandosi Confederation, an alliance of 6 sovereign nations with a historic and contemporary presence on this land. The Confederacy precedes the establishment of New York State, United States. We acknowledge the painful history that the Gayokoko have dispossession, and we honor the ongoing connection of these people with the past and present use of this land. My name is Jens Wenberg, and I'm the Celebration Associate this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're a first-time viewer or have been joining us all year long in a virtual church, we are glad you are here with us. We also want to welcome members of the congregation who have joined us today in the sanctuary. Starting next week, a maximum of 40 participants will be welcomed into our sanctuary each Sunday morning. All participants must register in advance and will be required to be masked while in the building. Details on how to register are listed in the weekly announcement. Please check our website for more information about how to create connection. If you'd like to receive updates describing opportunities for engagement, please email a request to office@uuithaca.org. Newcomers are specially invited to visit our website and complete the newcomer form on the home page. Our service is being live streamed from our sanctuary in downtown Ithaca, which will be available later for viewing as well on the YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing you at the live coffee hour that follows this service. We have an announcement down from the Board of Trustees by Valerie Graves.
Boy, does it feel good to be back in the sanctuary. It's just amazing. I'm Valerie Graves. I'm a new member of the Board of Trustees, and I have a statement to read on behalf of the board. Dear beloved FUSIT congregates, and I can take this off. Might be able to hear me better. In the past weeks, Reverend Tony and representatives of the Board of Trustees have negotiated a mutually acceptable dissolution of Reverend Tony's role at FUSIT. The board has accepted this resignation effective November 8th. We as a congregation are faced with immense challenges this church year. Unfortunately, there have been insurmountable obstacles to building the relationships we need right now between our interim minister and the staff, the board, and the congregation. There have been times in recent history when FUSIT has been without a minister. These periods have left us strong and inspired by our lay leadership, the wealth of spiritual knowledge in our beloved community, and the guests from the Ithaca and UU communities. Right now, our community needs inspiration and connection. We need to be together, while also being careful to protect our most vulnerable members. We must look out for each other. We must help each other to heal from the isolation, disappointment, and despair of this past year. We must reach out to each other to cultivate joy and playfulness despite it all. Looking forward, the board, and here's your FUSIT board, we would like to assure you all that the church will be well cared for and the FUSIT ministry programs will continue. Our church will be opening our doors in November as planned. We are encouraged by the strength of our programs like Living the Pledge to End Racism, small group ministries, Babies First, support for the Ithaca Sanctuary Alliance, and the treasure auction, to name a few. and we are heartened by the commitment and energy of our staff. The Board of Trustees and the FUSIT staff are engaged and active. We are eager to hear from you and to support the important role that FUSIT can play in our lives and greater community. We hope you will reach out to the staff, to the board, and to each other. Your involvement is a vital part of the process of healing, connecting, and living more deeply into our covenant. With all the pain and suffering in the world, let this community provide a haven of kindness and warmth to you, and may we as a congregation provide the same to the greater world. Thank you.
There will be a congregational conversation later this morning on Zoom at 12:30, so we can listen and support each other through the transition of Reverend Tony's departure. The Zoom link is listed in the weekly announce. And so now for our chalice lighting. May we all say together the words that are in the program or that are up, hopefully, on the screen. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
Please, we will now be singing hymn 103. Sorry. Opening words are by the Reverend Tim Haley. Amid all the noise in our lives, we take this moment to sit in silence, to give thanks for another day, to give thanks for those in our lives who have brought us warmth and love, to give thanks for the gift of life. We know we are on a pilgrimage here, but a brief moment of time. Let us open ourselves here and now to the process of becoming more whole, of living more fully, of giving and forgiving more freely, of understanding more completely the meaning of our lives here on earth. So, welcome to this moment, seasons turning, changing all around us, the web of our relationship shifting, stretching, reforming, beginning once again. And now we will sing hymn number 103.
For those of you who have joined us in the sanctuary today, please rise if you feel so moved to do so, and I want to encourage you to please hum along with us today to hymn number 103, For All the Saints.
For all the saints who
Good morning, friends. What a fun and special day it is to be here for my very first time, getting to have actual people to speak to here in our sanctuary. And as you can see, I dressed up for the occasion. It's time to open up our wonder box. I hope there's nothing spooky inside. It's a note. It says, turn 3 times around widdershins to find what you seek. All right, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. It's a broom. Someone must have known that I needed this to complete my costume today. And it goes perfectly with my story. This is one of my favorite stories, and it's perfect for Halloween. This story can help us gain a deeper understanding of what it means to cultivate a relationship, which is our theme for this month. A huge part of being a UU is being inclusive. It's how we cultivate relationship with one another in a broader sense, by inviting everybody in. And the more people we have in our community, the more we invite people in, the more it changes and enriches that community. And sometimes, as we open up our hearts and spaces to new people, we find that being inclusive and welcoming in new members of this community means we have to readjust and rethink how we're doing things. Being inclusive, truly inclusive, and working to meet the needs of everyone means we can't just do the same thing over and over again with more people. We have to open ourselves up to trust one another and change when something isn't working for everyone, even if it worked just fine in the past. Our story today is going to explore how a wonderful witch invites in new friends and the changes that happen because of it. This is Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson. The witch had a cat and a hat that was black, and a long ginger hair and a braid down her back. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat when the wind blew so wildly it blew off the hat. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes on thundering paws there bounded a dog with a hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, I am a dog, as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me? Yes, cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and the forests they flew. The dog wagged his tail and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed out loud and held on to her hat, but away blew the bow from her braid, just like that. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree, with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with the bow in her beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low, then, as the witch tied her hair in the bow, said, I am a bird as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me? Yes, cried the witch. So the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The bird shrieked with glee and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. Then, all of a sudden, from out of a pond leaped a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried the wand on the fold of her cloak, "I am a frog, as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me?" "Yes!" cried the witch. So the frog bounded on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh! They were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped for joy, and the broom snapped in two. Down fell the cat and the dog and the frog. Down they went tumbling into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a cloud, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud. "I am a dragon as mean as can be, and witch with French fries sounds delicious to me." "No!" cried the witch. Flying higher and higher, the dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. "Help!" cried the witch, flying down to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew near with a glint in his eye and said, "Just this once, I'll have witch without fries." But just as he planned to begin on his feast, from out of a ditch rose a horrible beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 frightful heads. It had wings like a bird. And its terrible voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squelched as it strode from the ditch, and it said to the dragon, "Buzz off, that's my witch." The dragon drew back, and he started to shake. I'm sorry," he spluttered. "I made a mistake. It's nice to have met you, but now I must fly." And he spread out his wings and was off through the sky. Then down flew the bird, and down jumped the frog. Down climbed the cat, and phew, said the dog. And "Thank you, oh thank you," the grateful witch cried. "Without you, I'd be in that dragon's inside." Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, "Find something, everyone. Throw something in." So the frog found a lily, the cat found a cone, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well. And while she was stirring, she muttered a spell. Iggity, ziggity, zaggity, zoom! Then out rose a truly magnificent broom, with seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird, and a pool for the frog. "Yes!" cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. In our story, the witch opened up her heart and her broom to new friends. But just adding more friends without change made her broom snap. But when all of the new friends came together and trusted one another, they were able to rescue the witch from being the dragon's lunch. And in the end, they chose to change, to create a new broom with room for each of them that met their individual needs, to truly be one together in community. On this All Hallows Eve, Samhain, I invite you to open yourself to change and the amazing way that being inclusive can help us all cultivate relationship with one another and our community. And please, stop by the porch this evening if you participate in trick-or-treating. Madonna and Kamara will be waiting on the porch with treats. I know my family will be stopping by, and I hope yours will as well. Better not forget my broom.
Wow, Emily, that's a hard act to follow here. So I am really happy to be bringing Joys and Sorrows back to the sanctuary and back to our Sunday services. so they will no longer be done during coffee hour, doing Zoom coffee hour. So you can send your Joys and Sorrows announcements to joysandsorrows@uuithaca.org before 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. If you're in the sanctuary, you can fill out the card, the green card in the pew, and drop it in the back basket over on my right, your left. And just want to remind people that this service is live stream, so you may want to take care with what and how you say what you want to say in your Joys and Sorrows announcement. In a spirit of reverence and unity and care, we take time now to give witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community. We share those events that call for our prayers and support, our praise and celebration. Our thoughts are with the family of Dr. Peter Harriet, aged 94, who passed away peacefully in the presence of his family on September 13th, 2021. A service is planned for the spring. For all those for whom we have concerns, all those we are holding in our thoughts and prayers, into this community of space of healing and hope, let us call these names out loud right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world, and let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, let our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be, and amen.
After a night of rain, the brilliant screen below my terraced garden falls away. And there, far off, I see the hills again on this, a raw and windy, somber day. Moments of loss, and it is overwhelming. Crimson and gold gone, that rich tapestry. But a new vision, quick and soul calming. Distance, design are given back to me. This is good poverty. Now love is lean, more honest, harder than it ever was, when all was glamored by a golden screen. The hills are back and silver on the grass. As I look, without passion or despair, out on the larger landscape, grand and bare. Let us now take a moment of silence.
Amen, and blessed be. Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. This week is Sharing Sunday. We are giving our offering to Mutual Aid Tompkins, our neighbors concerned about our community and helping to make sure those most vulnerable and affected by COVID-19 get the support they need. We were going to have Jake and Valerie, who are members of Mutual Aid Tompkins to come up and tell us about their program. But they found that there was a homeless man over in the parking garage, and they could not leave that person to come and join us. That is the way it works. These people are committed to helping flatten the curve and ensure that COVID-19 is not spread through their mutual work. They are volunteer-run with no paid staff, and the aid comes directly from the community. They help neighbors share information and resource with one another on a Facebook group. They are organizing neighborhood pods in Tompkins County, a system where block captains work with folks in the area to do regular welfare checks with neighbors to ensure that everyone is well cared for and getting what they need. So please be generous with your shared plate donation today. The giving information will appear on your screen in a moment during the offertory music. Giving to the plate is important. It is a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. So please take a moment and give through either the text option or the giving button on the home page of the website. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond. Today we are celebrating Halloween, or All Hallows Eve. This involves celebrating 4 different holidays: All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, Samhain, the pagan celebration of the end of summer, and Halloween, as it is celebrated today. In the Christian tradition, All Saints' Day celebrated those who truly lived holy lives, and All Souls' Day was to celebrate others who had died. Now these 2 days are sometimes merged. The first celebration to honor the martyrs of the early church was in 43 AD. Persecution of the early Christians in Rome continued until 313, when Constantine the Great ended it. In 1609, Pope Boniface IV called for a festival to be held on the first Sunday after Pentecost in May to honor the fallen. It was chosen to take over the Roman pagan festival of Lemuria. About this time, All Souls' Day was added to the prayers and ringing of bells to help the departed move from purgatory to heaven. Then, in the 9th century, Pope Gregory IV moved the holiday to November 1st to replace the English pagan celebration of Samhain. After the Reformation, the date has often been changed, some to celebrate it on the first Sunday in November, as the commemoration of all Christians, living and deceased. Little has been preserved about the origins of the pagan celebration. It celebrates the halfway point between the equinox and the winter solstice, and is the start of the half year of darkness, winter. Many believe that it is a time when the veil between living and dead is thin and spirits can pass through. Modern Halloween reflects this with the use of skeletons and ghosts. However, it's become a fun holiday with trick-or-treat, parades, and children in costume. In the past, on All Souls' Day, children were given soul cakes to sing and pray for the dead. And so that is the connection that tied them all together.
As Jens just described, the history of Halloween and All Saints' Day has many twists and turns, and celebrations have taken different forms in different cultures. Personally, I haven't given much thought to Halloween since my son stopped needing costumes. But this year, I've been feeling like the 2 holidays really tap into some important aspects of our existence. I'll talk a little bit about Halloween, and Jens will talk about All Saints' Day. So why does Halloween speak to me in 2021? 2 things I associate with Halloween are frightening surprises and people appearing in unfamiliar masks and guises. In that context, it kind of feels like we've been living in a Halloween world for the last 20 months. One scary thing after another. Virus pandemic, alarming political events, signs of a mounting global crisis, climate crisis. And the divergent responses to these events that we've seen across the country have caused me to see people in very different ways and in different guises. So, fair to say, I've had enough. But Halloween can also be a prompting to stop and reflect on the ongoing strangeness of this current moment. If you're like me, you might be receiving messages that things are back to normal. Compared to last year at this time, maybe that's the case, but I think for many of us, things continue to feel uncharted and deeply unsettling. In the world, in our country, here at church. And we're experiencing this while carrying the psychic weight of 20 months of unsettling surprises. My shopping trip to Wegmans yesterday felt a little bit like a microcosm of our world. If you haven't been to Wegmans recently, they've rearranged a lot of the aisles. And there were all these lost, frustrated people exclaiming, "I can't find anything anymore." That felt a little bit like some other aspects of my existence. My short-term strategy for managing uncertainty is generally compartmentalization or selective avoidance. Pandemic on the way? Sew masks. Political instability? Listen to science podcasts. Existential worry? Do the laundry. I focus on the immediate tasks ahead of me and try to ignore the urge to freak out. But eventually, this narrowed focus gets harder to sustain. As Jens mentioned, one of the beliefs connected to the Gaelic festival of Samhain is that the physical and spiritual worlds draw closer during this time. I realize this may seem like a bit of a stretch, but this dimension of Halloween inspires me to step out of my task-oriented, narrowly focused survival mode and try to connect more intentionally with the spiritual and psychological experience of the last 20 months. To pause and reflect on the ebb and flow of my own feelings and the swirl of unsettled emotions and anxiety brought on by all that we've been living through. So how to do that? I recently restarted a daily journal, something that helps me pay closer attention to my emotional state and how it affects my interactions. I think it also helps me be more empathetic as well, and to distinguish things within my control from those that I can't control. Exercise, exercise also helps me release some of the built-up anxious energy. I know calls for mindfulness and self-care can be a little irritating. These past months, my email inbox is filled with cheery messages urging hot baths, nature walks, and meditation, all in the name of self-care. And these can feel a bit like a flimsy Band-Aid for profound institutional issues. The overworked healthcare worker, the teacher trying to teach and stay safe with limited resources, the parent who can't find childcare. No amount of self-care is going to fix these inequities that have created these situations. But changing broken systems and institutions will require sustained energy, commitment, and resiliency that I believe we cannot hope to achieve without attention and care for our psychological and physical well-being. What is weighing on you right now? What of these things can you control? What is outside your control? Whether through writing, walking, sitting quietly and breathing, I invite you to find some time this week to observe the world through your thoughts and emotions and acknowledge how you are experiencing this time. Be kind to the anxious thoughts and thank yourself for taking time to be present. I'll close my part with a short poem of Mary Oliver's that touches on some of these themes. The poem is titled, "I Worried." I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I can seem hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing. and I gave it up. And I took my old body and went out into the morning and sang.
We gather here as the days get shorter and the season of winter starts. We look back on the summer season. We had hoped that the burden of COVID had passed. Then the onset of Delta virus hit, reminding us that we needed to look back not just at the summer, but at the whole time since the virus appeared. We have been overwhelmed by the changes that have separated us from our friends and those we loved. We think of the special people we might call saints, who we have lost, and remember them. So who are these saints? They're comrades who have lived fine lives and who supported us in our own quest to live good and an honorable life. They don't have to be perfect humans. All of us have failings, but their goodness inspires us. So how do we honor these saints? We recall their name, remember how they looked and spoke, and we think all about the good things they've done and express our gratitude. We can also honor those people who might be called saints who are still with us, people who have done fine things in their spiritual life. So, who do we celebrate as saints? How do we honor them? Some of the people of this congregation I consider saints, who I've named in no particular order, include Carol Nickerson, Connie Currier, Mark Peterson, Oliver Hobbich, Norma Hellsberg, Dalva Hedlund. So who are the saints in your life? I invite you to sit back comfortably. Close your eyes if you wish and take a moment to think about and remember those you honor. Mine include my mentor, Alan Berkman, my teacher, Bill Swartley, and Martha Ferger. Who are yours? Amen, Shalom, Salam, blessed be.
I invite you now to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 107, Now We Sing of the Brave and Old. For those of you in this space with us, once again, I invite you to hum behind your masks.
On All Saints' Day, let us call into our minds and hearts those saints who bless our lives and light a path forward. Family saints, spouses, partners, mothers, fathers, siblings, aunts, and uncles, who stay with us through the days and years and times of need and joy, we give thanks. Friend saints, childhood, adult, those young and not so young, tea time and mealtime friends who listen and laugh and cry, we give thanks. Work friends, co-workers, fellow travelers, mentors, and teachers who are with us when goals are hard to name, we give thanks. Community saints, those who serve, educators, creators, nurturers, whose presence makes our daily life easier, whose vision brings justice, equality, and peace to the world, we give thanks. Unnamed and unknown saints who overcome obstacles, whose presence calls us to do more than we thought possible, who bear burdens and let us assist them, showing strength, courage, and wisdom in the face of pain and tragedy, we give thanks. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, but by gathering together in love and with love. Go in peace.